beauties, my name is Jan and I thought I'd have a little bit of fun today by applying normal liquid foundation and concealer to this side of the face, and I'm going to call this side the mask for a reason. And on this side I'm just going to use regular mineral foundation powder mixed with moisturizer, and I'm also going to use correctors as opposed to concealers. And afterwards, using the same blushes, bronzers and shaping powders, I'm going to show you the incorrect and the correct ways. And you can see the difference and leave comments below. So first of all, we're going to look at applying concealers and correctors. So what I like to do, so let's start with that. Let me just get this. So this is a regular, normal, thick concealer that you can buy. And I'm just going to get a little bit in the sponge here. And I'm going to apply it. So this is the side that is going to be the incorrect side. So I'm just going to apply it all underneath my eye. And because we're masking any imperfections, can't find my concealer now, I'm going to do this side of the nose by covering up anything that we want to cover. And because it's a mask, now on this side I'm going to use a corrector, and I'm going to use a small brush here. So this corrector is a yellow concealer, a corrector, and it also brightens up the face as well. So I'm going to take a little bit from on this small brush here and just apply it anywhere where there's darkness. So here. Now I'm not going to apply it over here, but I am going to apply it just to the outer edge here. So what I'm doing here is I'm brightening up the face as well as correcting any imperfections. So on the nose, instead of using the concealer here, I'm using the yellow corrector. And I'm going to use a little bit around here. And normally I use this on the chin, so I'm just going to use this half of the chin with the brightening up, and this half here. So I'm not trying to conceal completely underneath the eye here with this. Now what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to blend it in, because it will get blended in with the foundation. The same kind of on this side as well. Now the next thing we're going to do is the foundation. So I have a couple of foundations here. I'm not going to give the names out, but they're generic mineral foundations that you can buy in any drugstore. And I just want to shake first. And these are actually light ones. They're not too thick, so to give it a fair chance, I'm just going to apply a little bit here. And I'm going to apply to this side only. And don't forget underneath the chin. Now I'm going to use a brand new foundation brush here. And I'm going to just done as good a job as I can, so you can see the difference there. Now we're going to look at the other side, and what I've done here, I deliberately just got, you can use a professional palette of course, but I just got a saucepan here, and I've also just put some cream in here. This is the Revitalizing Cream, which I find is the best for mixing foundation in, but we also have an unscented lotion as well, which can also be used to make like a BB cream. And here we have our mineral foundation. And I'm just going to take a little bit of that in. Take a spot of that in there, and I'm just going to mix up. I have a second foundation brush, so we don't mix up our foundations. And I'm going to take a little bit of the foundation that we've mixed, and again I'm going to dab it over the area, this side. Again, onto the neckline. So I normally do always apply foundation on the neck as well as the face. So this is this side. And I'm going to use my brush and I'm going to massage it. So you can see here I've got the two sides. I've got the corrector on this side and the mineral foundation that's been mixed with a moisture cream on this side. And then on this side I've got the concealer, and then I've got the regular foundation. So I don't know if you can see the difference there. Now I must admit I have not put foundation, liquid foundation on in years, probably 25, 30 years since I've used one of these foundations. So it does feel like I've got a mask on, which is what I was talking about. This is the mask side. And in a sense, it is a mask, because what you're doing here, you're putting on a product that contains dimethicone, which is a silicone, not silica, silicone, which is it stops the skin from breathing. It forms a layer over the skin, and of course there's other ingredients in as well. So I feel like I've got a mask on. The concealer also is quite thick and works by covering. So I've got a thick layer here of concealer on here, as well as the foundation. And this is a light foundation. This is not a foundation that some people might use, which is much thicker. And this side, I don't feel like I've got anything on. Basically, I've just got a little bit of powder that's been mixed with the cream, which is a cream I normally apply to my skin. And the corrector is very little that I've added, and only to certain areas. So I'm going to put, before we put any powders on, I'm going to put a finishing powder on top everything. So this is just a finishing powder from our store, and I'm just going to swirl it in with a kabuki brush, and I'm just going to apply over the area we've done applied the foundation, just so that the powder can work on the over the liquids. This is just a nice light finishing powder. Now the other thing I personally, and this is my personal choice, is I don't like artificial perfume. And unfortunately, in 99% of makeup that you buy, like liquid foundations, they are perfumed. Now these perfumes are made with chemicals, and they contain something called phthalates. And phthalates are known to be endocrine disruptors. Now phthalates, these perfumes are not just in makeup, you find them in air fresheners, in laundry detergents, scented candles, a lot of cleaning products. And I haven't had those in my home for probably 30 odd years. I use essential oils. Now this product that's in here is also scented. It is scented with essential oils. And one of the essential oils it contains is rose. And I just read a study recently where they've found that people who smell rose every day have better brain cognitive ability. Who knows? But definitely I prefer to use essential oils. I have never had any problem with them. I find that they help with my mood, they make me feel good, and they smell gentle, herby, gentle, pretty, not strong and in your face like the phthalate perfumes or the artificial perfumes that you find in air fresheners, and when you walk into a department store, that's all you smell is a very strong scent of perfume, and I don't like that. And there's a lot of people now who have sensitivity to this scent as well. So before we go on, I'm just going to check everything out, make sure that the foundation is good where it is, and then I'm going to come back and we're going to talk about the right placement and the incorrect placement of the shaping powder, blushes and bronzers. Now the first thing I am going to show you is using some shaping powder, and I'm going to use the same products for each side. So I'm just going to take a small angled brush that is useful for doing shaping. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to start on the wrong side first. And what I'm going to do, I'm literally going to draw a line underneath here. So I'm going to pretend I'm shaping up underneath here. Now on this side, what I'm going to do, I'm going to feel the brow, cheekbone here, and I'm going to start here, and I'm going to feel the cheekbone, and I'm just going to press up the cheekbone from here. So I'm not going to go in more than there. So I'm just pushing upwards into the cheekbone. Now what I'm also going to do, I'm going to apply a little bit to the jawline here. And this is useful if you've got a little bit of skin here or a little bit of skin here. Now it's a little bit like a optical illusion. So I'm just going to go underneath here. And you can go down the neck slightly, just to give a nice bit of shaping to the face. Now you can see here, by going too far down and too far in, it kind of brings the face down, whereas this kind of lifts everything. And I'm just going to use the kabuki brush just to smooth it out. And the same thing here. And we're doing shaping for what it's meant to do. This is something I would have done in the 80s, was put a big swab of brown here to make the cheekbones stand out. So that is shaping powder mistake number one. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do the bronzer. And when we do the bronzer, of course, the trick is also not to take too much product. So when I'm taking the product, I always knock excess off. Now I'm going to again start the same, and I'm going to again follow this. So I'm going to go slightly above, but I'm going to go right in here. Apply bronzer, I'm going to go up here. So I'm applying a lot of bronzer just above the shaping powder. See what's happening there? I'll take a little bit in this brush now. Now what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to take a little bit here, just to the outer edge, and I'm just going to sweep a little bit. And here again, the same side as this. Put a little bit against the hairline, and I'm just going to go in like a circle. And then I just come under and over. So around and under. So I've avoided going too far in. Here I've gone way too far in. Here I'm just going to the outer edge of the cheekbones to give it a lift. Now, if you like the look of having it down here, that is okay. Everyone is an individual and nothing is really wrong with makeup. But I'm just saying what usually looks best on most people. Now I'm going to go in with a beautiful mineral blush. It's a beautiful shade. Got a nice gloss to it. Now the biggest problem with this is it's very intense, the colour. So I have seen influencers and what have you apply way too much. So we're actually going to do the apple of the cheek. So this is very common to do this. So when we apply blusher, we're going to apply blusher here. Because we want it to blush, don't we? Now, what I think is the best way is just to apply a little bit above the bronzer, just a little bit here, to add just a touch of highlight. So this bronzer is got a nice glimmer to it, so it acts a little bit like a highlighter. You can also add a little bit onto your nose here, but you don't need to use more than that. So that is really what I would suggest when you're beginning, the correct placement of blusher, bronzer and shaping powder. Of course, you don't need to use all three, but that's if you're going for a kind of a full makeup look. So let's show you this side. So there's too much blusher here. I'll add a little bit more just to emphasize somebody going to a party or a little old lady who's just applied a little bit too much, which is kind of common. So here we have way too much bronzer coming down into here, and what this is doing, it's drawing the eye downwards and it's making the face look older. So that's this side here. Now on this side, you can see here there's a slight contouring happening, there has been a shaping under here, so the eye is drawn up. So in this case, we're bringing this up, we're emphasizing cheekbones without overemphasizing, so it doesn't look like you've got a lot of makeup on. Now I want to go back to the concealer versus the corrector. Now I can already see this, that under here actually looks more pronounced than under here. Can you see that? Here looks more pronounced than here. And the reason for that is a light concealer placed right on a baggy area. Now I don't really have bags under the eyes, but if you had bags and you put a concealer directly on the baggy area, it will actually make it more pronounced. Also, if you have a lot of wrinkles here, even I have a few wrinkles, but if you have a lot of wrinkles here and you put in a thick makeup, whether it be just concealer or concealer and foundation or a combination, on the wrinkles, they will eventually settle into the lines and make them more pronounced. So by not applying a lot of makeup, if you notice I just put a little bit here, a little bit there, very light, to correct an area, then you're not going to have this bulging out occurring. And it's going to take the eye away by making this brighter here and it's brightened here, a little bit brighter here. You make the eyes come alive more. And also, because I've used the corrector underneath here and around here, a little bit here, a little bit there, it brightens up the whole face. So it acts a little bit like a highlighter here. Even though I've got foundation on top, you can see a little bit of brightening. Of course, we can always add a little bit afterwards of a lighter highlighter up here as well if you wish. But with the blusher, I don't think that's necessary. So this is the mask side. I call it the old lady look, where there's way too much blusher and bronzer. And then you have the correct, more refined side. know what you think in the comments below, and also if you've got any questions, please ask me. And I will put the products that I use in the comments below. Of course, I use the same products. I use the shaping powder, the blusher, the bronzer, and the finishing powder. They were all the same products, just done in a different application. So take care wherever you may be, and it's bye for now.